So if you've never bought diamonds before, the process is generally the same for most people. You go in, you have a salesman, you have a brick and mortar store, and they're trying to tell you how what you're buying is worth so much more than they're willing to sell it to you for. I know, I wasn't born yesterday either, but you have to factor in that that guy also has to be paid, the lights have to be turned on. All of that overhead is included in that purchase price where they're giving you such a great deal. Well, that's where today's video sponsor, JamesAllen.com, is here to help, because they remove that additional overhead and sell you just the diamonds you're looking for at a terrific price. JamesAllen.com is one of the fastest growing online retailers of engagement rings, loose diamonds, and fine jewelry. Design and customize your dream ring with access to hundreds of settings and over 200,000 conflict-free diamonds. For the ultimate visualization, try their virtual ring try-on feature that shows you what each diamond looks like from every angle. They offer complimentary lifetime services and a 100% money-back guarantee within 30 days. So if you're currently shopping for diamonds, if you want to see how James Allen compares to diamonds you've already purchased, or you have no idea what diamonds cost, but you know when you have to buy them, you want to be prepared for it, visit JamesAllen.com by clicking the link below in the description. Doing so is going to save you 25% on your order, so you're already ahead of the game. If you've never given somebody a ring in a box or even diamonds in a box, it is a day that they remember for the rest of their lives, but that doesn't mean you have to overpay, so visit JamesAllen.com. There's a link right below in the description to save you some money. All right, everybody, what's going on? Rob Ferrari here, and I need a little bit of help figuring this one out, because this one, you know the car market's nuts right now, right? Everybody's out there spending way too much money on virtually anything with wheels. But then you look at the collector market, and that's always a little bit more consistent. The models across the board are going up. Like this Lotus is up 20, 30%. Whatever, the Ferrari, everything's up a little bit. But then you see these outliers, and you're like, all right, this has got me scratching my head. And this one is actually, the guy who has this car listed messaged me like a week ago saying like, hey, can you help bring attention to my Acura Integra Type R that I'm going to be selling? It's my dad's car. It's got 7,000 miles on it. And I was like, I mean, what do I do? What sort of video do you make on a guy who has an Acura Integra Type R for sale? Then I was like, hey, did you sell the car yet? Because it was like a week ago he asked me this. And he's like, oh, no, it's listed now. And I look, and the car is at $111,000 at the time of this recording. It's a yellow 2000 Integra Type R with 7,000 miles on 66 or whatever it is, like 6,000 to 7,000 miles on it. And I was like, dude, do you want me to make a video on this? Because I think you should take that money and run as fast as you can. Give the guy, buy him dinner, whatever. But like I think it's significantly over what it's worth already. And he's like, oh yeah, no, it's whatever, drive eyeballs. And I was like, well, I got eyeballs because I have no, like my eyeballs don't believe what I'm seeing right now. That when you buy a collector car, right, that you buy a collector car with the expectation that it's going to go up in value over time, especially like a collector car that you're going to not drive. Like if you buy a car like this perfect example behind me, which is why I'm standing here, this is a 1990 Corvette ZR1, right? The ZR1, everybody loves the ZR1 moniker. This one is in the factory plastic. The factory, it's got 160 miles on it, which is like loading it on and off a trailer, moving it around the garage. This car is factory new. Collectible, like never been driven. This car is like, you could probably, it may even still be on the MSO where you can register it and get warranty on it. However, I don't even think this car would sell for $111,000. So why somebody would buy an Integra, which is, by any stretch of the imagination, all across the board, the Integra was designed for kids who didn't have money, and then they could throw an exhaust on it and make it like, throw some wheels on it, customize their like cool get-around car. It's never been a performance powerhouse. Like it's not a Porsche 993 Turbo. It's not a Supra. It's not an RX-7. It's an Integra Type R. It was cool to people who had Integras. It wasn't cool to the rest of the world. Nobody's like, yeah, I daily drive an Integra Type R, but I got a Lambo in the garage. That's never been the case. So I don't get it. I don't see why it's worth this. I hope this guy makes $500,000 on it. I still won't understand it, but I'm like, dude, good for you. It still boggles my mind. And I understand buying like a regular, like, hey, I'm going to buy a somebody sat on a Jeep Wagoneer forever and it's got 10,000 miles on it. I'm going to buy it and I'm going to enjoy it. Live a little nostalgia. This car is being sold and effectively treated as a collector piece. Now, what guy is going to be like, yep, it's my Scuderia, it's my F40, and this is my Integra Type R. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, my head, I want to put together, and I drive my car, so I'm not really a collector, but I like cars of a certain genre. I put value on them. My Supra, my NSX. I'd like to get an R34 GTR, and I'd like to get an RX-7. I want to complete that little trinity of cool Japanese cars from when I was a kid. And the Type R is not even on the list. Like, there is nothing about a Type R that excites me. I get it could be a tuner car. You throw, hey, Hector's here with the spoon engines. It's just, it's not a, I don't get this. Like, and that means somebody's out there dropping 110, 115, who knows where it's going to end up, 150 on this car with the expectation it's going to be worth more than that someday. That there's another guy out there. It's like, oh, you got that for a steal. I'll give you a $250 for that Integra. Can you think, like, I was just like, brain exercise. Let me see what else I can buy from a similar year, from 2000, 2001, that like the 360 right there is less than the Integra. Even with the same mileage, I'm looking up 360s with like an 02, 03, 360 Spider with 5,000, 4,000 miles on it, and they're selling for like 110 or whatever, 105, 115, whatever it is. So you're saying for the same money, you'd rather have an Integra over like a low-mile Ferrari? Like, it boggles my mind. Like, I don't believe in collector cars to begin with because I think it's silly. The amount of money that you can take, this car was $61,000 when it was new. You parked it for 30 years. If you took $61,000, and I think the guy who originally bought it paid $100. He paid over list for it. But if you, that's aside from the fact, if you park $60,000 for 30 years in any account at 5%, 8%, do the amortization tables, you're talking with interest, this is $650,000 in money. And it's like, well, I don't have the enjoyment of what? What are you missing by parking it in the garage, paying for your insurance on the car, and then making 10%, 20%? I don't get that collector cars. I get buying a car that's limited and parking it and then getting like 60 times return on it. Like, you buy a Ferrari Enzo, you park it, and then you sell it for $12 million, a McLaren F1. Those make sense to me. But going out and buying a car for $100,000, parking it for 20 years and getting $150,000, $100,000 in 20 years turns into $800,000. Why would you ever do that? It makes no sense with no overhead. So I don't get it. I was looking up other Integras just to be like, oh, I wonder what the other cars. So recently these cars sold like, and like blown out of the water sales of like $50,000 on Bring a Trailer, $70,000. Where we're at 110 on this car, I have no idea. I'm missing something and I don't know what it is. And you guys that love Integras, you're gonna have to post it in the comments as you're roasting me. Like, this guy's got no, what an a-hole. I don't get it. Tell me, like, and you can't say I don't like Japanese cars. I got an NSX right behind the camera. So like, I like Japanese cars. I have a Supra and an NSX. What is it about the Type R? I get it as like a cheap, cute, like first car, but I got the cooler version. Yeah, it's got an extra like 12 horsepower. I don't get what makes it like collectible on a mass scale to the point where it's a six-figure car. Is an Integra a six-figure car? Not to me. Obviously it is to somebody or multiple people because it's at $111,000. Tell me what I'm missing, guys. I think this is craziness. And this isn't a guy going out and Woodside crediting this thing. You're not going to get a loan for $111,000 for an Integra. This is somebody paying cash, not cash, like, and somebody even, not cash, like burlap sack. But that brings up a thought. Somebody's like, this has to be money laundering. And I'm like, money laundering to my, like, to what I understand is trying to take dirty money, like drug money or stolen money, and make it clean by buying something and selling it, right? So now you have money that was, but you're not walking in there with like a bucket full of 20s. And if you are, you're going to go buy something for $10,000 and sell it for $8,000. You're going to go buy something for $120,000 and sell it for 70. It makes no sense. Like, I'm lost here. Hopefully you guys can shed something on it. I do. This is not me like trying to crap on this guy's auction. I wish him the best. I hope he makes $1 trillion on this thing. I just don't get it. And even when he was like, my dad is, he's been having such a hard time not driving it for so long. And I'm like, where's the enjoyment in that, right? Like I've said this before. What enjoyment, like when you're staring at the pearly gates and you're going towards the light, who's going to be like, wow, am I glad I had something fun in my possession for 20 years and I didn't use it? That's not me. If it's you, I don't get, there's better investments and you're getting no, like I get driving something, selling it, getting your money back, making money. That's awesome. Like that's enjoying your hobby wisely and getting lucky. I don't get the people that buy something that they would enjoy, don't use it, and then make less money than they would make if they took the same money and did anything else with it. Enlighten me, please, because I'm missing something. Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.